Remember when Neo was just the hacker name of Thomas Anderson?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, how quickly things change. Neo soon became the One, a prophecy-fulfilling, min-maxed fighter with the ability to free mankind from machines. He's got almost as many powers as Goku, and that's saying something. In fact, where's their epic fight? Some of you came with skeptic views, but come, take a trip down the rabbit's hole with us. While you were groaning about the poor quality of the sequels, we noted that it showed about the One's untapped powers. Get ready, some of these are reality-shattering to the max. Rewrite programs. Okay, what exactly is a program? Well, imaginary viewer, a program is a simulated person within the Matrix. For instance, the Oracle is a program. Every aspect of this fictional world is run by programs. You'll notice that we refer to Neo as the Prime Program because the source created him as such. It's all confusing, but stay with us.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe?
Being the Prime Program makes Neo the Chosen One. His programming allows him to alter the functions of code around the Matrix. Since other programs are made of code, he can modify them as well. Agent Smith actually rewrote the Oracle's program in the movies, and that's what this power looks like. With it, Neo could have potentially saved himself in the end. Create new programs inside the Matrix. Alright, you're gonna have to clear out some brain space for this video. The entries only pick up from here. Just as Neo can rewrite the programs around him, he can also create new ones for purposes within the Matrix. It's even possible that both the Architect and the Oracle were programs designed by the first Chosen One to continue the cycle. There's a whole lot of lore that we just can't really get into here. The point is that Neo, like those two figures, has the ability to create lines of code in the simulation. If he wanted to, he could create a third figure to throw the balance of the Matrix off and break the cycle. Yeah, he's that powerful. Destroy an object with his bare hands. Okay, you have to keep those facts in the back of your head. Everything in the Matrix is code, and Neo can manipulate it. With that in mind, consider the possibilities. It's said that the One has immeasurable strength, and that's one of his powers. So if we can't measure the strength, then how are we going to make you understand how impactful it is? Think of it this way. One single punch to an object in the Matrix, and it's destroyed. He can bust any line of code near him like he's on some GTA cheats. We even got a hint of his strength in his final fight against Agent Smith. That's seriously as close as we can get to measuring this power. Fully manipulate the Matrix reality. Hey, now this is different than merely rewriting programs. As the Prime Program, Neo holds sway over the reality that humans live in. The entire purpose of the One is to bring human error into the simulation and rework the cycle. If Neo had been around longer, he would have discovered ways to rewrite reality. When there's no One or Oracle, only the Architect makes reality. It's said his Matrix is a nightmare. Picture it like an early 2000s Call of Duty chat room, but way worse. Anyways, it's believed that Neo would have had this same ability to manipulate reality fully. He could have turned the entire Matrix into a Mad Max simulation if he really wanted to. He knows when the Matrix changes. Okay, here's an entry to make all this easier to understand. Some people compare Neo to a system administrator for a computer system. We're not saying it's totally accurate, but it's not far off. All this means is he's plugged into everything. He's got the keys to the castle, and he knows when you move the furniture around. The Matrix is a simulation he shares control of with the Architect program. Yes, that level of sentience is on a god tier. Face it, Neo wouldn't be the first fictional character to hold that title. And he certainly won't be the last.
You know, I was God once.
Yes, I saw. You were doing well until everyone died.
Clairvoyance. The Oracle has clairvoyance. Maybe. There's some debate amongst fans and scholars whether her program actually allows her to see the future. Many argue that she's merely taking her knowledge of the Matrix and running formulas. This may seem off topic, but trust us, there's a point to all of this. If she's simply weighing choices and determining outcomes, then there's no reason Neo wouldn't find the same ability. In fact, he gets a brief glimpse into the future during his time with the Oracle. Surely, if one program can run the numbers, then the Prime Program can do the same. We've already seen him manipulate abilities akin to the Architect's power, so this doesn't feel too far out there. If only he'd used it. He can heal people. Neo is every member of a standard adventuring party wrapped into one guy. He's even the White Mage.
That's right, and nobody with the White Mage.
Picture an unstoppable cleric with unlimited healing spells. Nothing about that shouts fair or balanced, but to be honest, that's just Neo's MO in general. Nothing he does evens the playing field. We get a hint of this when Neo heals Trinity's wound as part of a climactic reveal. How does he do it? Well, he controls code. If your system is damaged, then realistically, he can fix those wounds. Also, altering the Matrix means he could even mod how much damage weapons do in general. Wait, why didn't he use this more in the story? Seriously, come on! Resurrection. We separated these two entries for a good reason. On the surface, they seem exactly alike, but it's simply not the case. Healing and resurrecting are two different trains bound for the very same station. It's the tracks that they're on that we're focusing on here. For healing, all Neo does is fix broken code. But when someone is wiped out of the Matrix, the whole scenario changes. Their code no longer exists, but Neo has access to all the code from the past up to that current minute. With that information on hand, he can pull a past version of their code and drag it to that moment. It's the closest thing we'll get to a rebirth here. Withstand major explosions. Once Neo took his pill and joined Morpheus, his entire world flipped upside down. He's no longer bound by the laws of physics, and never should have been, honestly. As he gained more control over his powers, the only limit to his skills was his imagination. Well, that and his ability to hack the Matrix code as he sees it in front of him. Everything we've told you about his program is determined by his own ability to read the programs and rewrite them fast enough. Here, we're talking about needing fast reflexes. If there was some kind of large combustion near him, then Neo would need to act fast to avoid the damage. Otherwise, he'd end up on the floor. Move between the non-Matrix worlds. Neo has this confusing moment in the sequels where he ends up at Mobile Avenue Station. It's a spot that rogue programs go and are smuggled into the Matrix or from the Matrix into the machine world. Things are getting confusing again, but stick with us. All you need to know is that Neo ends up there in a mysterious way. Many argue his wireless connection to the source that gave him powers outside the Matrix deemed him a rogue program. Perhaps his wireless connection to the source opened up all the other worlds to him. This could have been a great spin-off. We like to picture it like a cyberpunk version of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, only it's simulation travel and not time travel. Telekinesis. The comments are flooding in before we even start explaining this entry. Okay, sure you knew Neo had telekinesis, but there's a lot more to it. The Oracle has kids try to bend spoons as a way of seeing if they're the one, and Neo stops bullets like it's nothing. Those are great examples, but the buck doesn't stop there. We just mentioned the fact that Neo is connected to the source wirelessly. It gives him unique abilities outside of the Matrix, since he chose the path of Neo instead of the path of the One. Well, at least we think that's right. Honestly, who knows anymore? The point is, with enough practice, Neo could have taken his telekinetic abilities to the real world. Imagine that movie moment. Control machines outside the Matrix. The sequels did make a mess of this universe's lore, and no video will fix that. Your confusion is only natural. However, we want to discuss one last outside power Neo might have had if he was still around. This one involves Sentinels and all the machines, aka the villains. We see a quick moment in the third movie where Neo uses his mind to stop a Sentinel, which is further proof for the last entry, by the way. It's all a part of this new connection that he's got running Bluetooth to the source. But it goes past getting one to stop in place. Neo potentially has access to their entire programming and intentions. Maybe he could control them however he sees fit. Cloning. Here's a metaphor for you. As the Prime program, Neo is a lot like a host for a Zoom call. He's got the power to mute everyone else's mic and share his own screen. Maybe that gives you more of an idea about just how integral he is to the Matrix and Deus Ex Machina, the central interface of Machine City and the provider of the source. He does more than simply set the rules like a Zoom host. Neo could even potentially clone his own program, unlike Agent Smith. Remember, Agent Smith was a rogue program capable of corrupting the entire simulation. Even then, Smith and Neo were not far off in their abilities. Neo is copying a program, though, not assimilating others. Create a parallel matrix. Actually, that title's kinda misleading. Neo can create multiple parallel simulations akin to the Matrix just as the Oracle and the Architect had done. This entry is what you get when you take a number of the abilities on this list and fuse them all together. You get multiverse theory. The minute the story hinted at other failed simulations, the possibility of other simulations came into view. The Prime program has access to that power. Now, obviously Neo was not ready to do this. He needs a hell of a lot more power. Even if that did happen, one or two things would likely be off. Copying over the Matrix code is one thing, but some mutations would change, right? Make anew the One. The Path of the One is a sub-program that triggers when the One is absorbed into the source, and an anomaly happens. Neo is a correction tool in the code meant to fix the 1% programs that reject the simulation at some point. When Neo passed, the Matrix was reloaded back to its 100% acceptance rate that's destined to eventually fail. We know that the Path of the One program was not restarted though. Even then, as the Prime program, Neo could alter his own programming. He could run the subroutine to generate a new Prime program even while he existed. He'd be changing the parameters of the simulation, but it's not that different from what the Oracle did. Okay, that was a lot of Matrix lore for one video. Did you have a favorite power from this list? Share your thoughts in the comments. It's never too late to like this video and subscribe to The Binger. We're always releasing daily content for our current subscribers to enjoy.